Hey everyone, it's Julie. Today we'll be making stuffed salmon with a cream cheese filling and a honey soy glaze. It was super simple to make, so let's get started. So here I have some softened cream cheese, and I decided to make a very basic filling. I just threw in some green onions and garlic. You may throw in some spinach and it'll be delicious. I know people who hate spinach but love spinach dip. Also, if you like to make this healthier, you may use feta or cottage cheese. Now, cream cheese is very flavorful, so I didn't add any salt and pepper or any spices. The onions and garlic gave it a perfect taste for me. I gave everything a mix and then placed it in the fridge. Now for our honey glaze, I used some honey, some soy sauce, and a little splash of sriracha. Of course, the sriracha is optional. I just like the little kick that it gives. Gave everything a stir, and just in case you don't know what it looks like, here is the bottle. So I placed my 2 cuts of salmon in my baking dish, poured over the honey soy sauce. Make sure you spread the glaze evenly. And now I do have a recipe for a stuffed salmon with crab meat, scallops, and shrimp, which is amazing. However, if you're not a big fan of seafood, you will love this recipe. And you can just lift the salmon up and the liquid will just get under the salmon. And I placed this in the fridge for about 10 minutes or so. Once you remove the salmon from the fridge, you want to take a knife and slice an opening in the salmon. And you don't want to go in all the way, just enough to where your knife doesn't pop out through the other side. Hope that makes sense. And it's going to be like a little pocket. And yes, you can make pinwheels if you prefer. I decided to do it this way. And you definitely don't need kitchen twine for this. So all I did was take my spatula and fill the salmon up with cream cheese. Be a little gentle. And now you might be worried that I didn't season the salmon with some salt and pepper. You may if you like, however the soy has enough salt, plus the cream cheese is already flavorful enough. But everyone has different taste buds. You can certainly sprinkle a little bit of kosher salt and ground black pepper on top of the salmon. This was the leftover cream cheese, which wasn't much, but if you decide to save it for your bagels in the morning, just make sure not to cross-contaminate. I placed the salmon in a preheated oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. When it comes out of the oven, there will be some sauce at the bottom of the baking dish, and I just brushed it on top of the salmon fillets. I think the salmon looks good and it was incredibly tasty. You may serve this with some veggies and garlic mashed potatoes, which is one of my favorite sides for salmon. Also, you may place the salmon on top of some crispy noodles, my absolute favorite way of serving anything coated in honey. Crispy noodles with honey goes so well together. I sprinkled some sesame seeds over the top of the salmon. And that's about it. Now all there's left to do is taste it and devour it. 1 salmon fillet is good for 1 person, so this recipe is perfect for 2 people. If you do make this and would like to share your experience, you may comment down below. If you really enjoyed it, take some pictures and I'd be so thankful if you shared them with me on my Facebook page. I hope you guys really give this recipe a try. Hope you enjoyed this video and thank you all so much for watching.